With that said, let's get our guest speaker on here. This gentleman, he is amazing. I love his teaching, his trainings. He's been with us for several years, and you know what? He keeps talking about it, but I don't know if he wants to continue. He keeps talking about it. I hope he does. But I tell you what, he's one of my favorites, and I just love taking notes from him. And he really brings information methodical in a great way. He moved from Southern California to Southern Oregon. And with that said, can we give a warm welcome to another Regional Vice President, one and only Mr. Dean Tarrolly?
But let me start where I always start by thanking Mr. T for, doing this call and having this forum and the ability for us to be able to all get together, learn from the other leaders, I think is extraordinary because he does this not only on behalf of his own team, but all the people that are on this call that are not in his business, meaning he has no direct financial interest in whether you succeed or not. Now, he has a huge interest in whether you succeed or not, but it doesn't impact his bank account because you're not in his downline. But what he understands that a lot of people don't is it impacts it dramatically. Because the more success stories that we can create, the more people that we have out there that are representing the opportunity properly and with integrity and with character and with all of those things, right? Not to be cliche, but the rising tide raises all ships, right? You create a better environment with really good people, everybody wins. And I just know it's something that he's done. And hey, Renata Krumer, how are you? It was nice talking to you yesterday. So you guys, I'm going to continue this theme. I'm going to continue this theme from this week. And I hope you guys can follow along on this because, one of the things, and it is kind of a joke, that Mr. Thomas and I have, I've been doing this call for so long. And I always want to give you guys either a piece of information or a perspective that I haven't. And the longer you train on calls, right, some of those goals can be challenging because I'm not trying to review or regurgitate things that we have covered in the past, although repetition is the mother of learning. So there may be a little bit of that coming up in the future months, but I do want you guys to know this. The first thing I covered this month about how we build our businesses, I talked about, and the theme of this month is conflicting ideas, right? Things that just, they don't seem they seem to kind of cancel each other out. So here we go. And I really hope, I know some of you have your cameras on so I can see you. I hope that this makes sense to you. If it does, great. If it doesn't, just get the notes. Eventually, one day in your ACN life, it will. So the first thing I said, the first week, was the conflict, right, that exists in themes that we have when we're doing ACN and things that we're being taught. So the first week of conflict, right, this week, the first thing I covered was when we say, hey, your business is personal. Like you need to be personally invested in your business. But then 2 seconds later, the leader says, don't take it personally. And how do you manage that? I'm taking my business personally, but I need to not take people's responses personally. I need to not take people's interested, not interested personally, but you have to take your business personally. And those can be conflicting ideas. And that conflict creates indecision, and indecision creates inactivity. And we know that our business is all about activity. So how do you reconcile this personal, it's not personal? That was the first one. I covered that, right? And the second one that I covered was this idea of managing. But then we say, don't manage people. But you have to manage your emotions. You have to manage your schedule. You have to manage your activities. You have to manage, those are important. But the old joke is there's 4 phases of business. There's phase 1, personally peaking, personally recruiting. There's phase 2, managing people. Hey, are you talking to anyone? You presenting to anybody? Did you sign up any customers? And then the third one is managing the managers. Hey, you need to talk to your people and make sure, hey, you need to make sure that your people are doing PBR. Hey, you need to, right? And then the fourth phase is you're phased out. Because if you're not in phase one and you get into management mode, phase two, and then you manage managers, phase three, you may as well skip to phase four because you're done. You are not personally invested in your business. So you need to manage things in your ACN business and life, but not manage other people. You want to guide and direct and give people an environment where they can grow. But if you manage them, you guys, they've been managed their whole lives with traditional business and jobs. Who understand? Watch this. I'll give you an example. And then I'm going to move on to this week. I'll give you an example, you guys. Really important place to start. How many of you agree that if given a choice, you would not want to have a manager? Right. Nobody wants a manager. It's like I'm an adult. I know how to get dressed on my own. I know how to brush my teeth on my own. I know, like, I'm not I don't need to be managed. But people need to be directed and taught a system. So it's very important to understand the balance, the conflicting ideas. Week number one, it's personal, it's not personal. Number two, manage, don't manage. And for those of you that were on the call last week, I actually, while I was training you, had the perfect follow-up for this week. At least I think it is, right? And here's what it is. So let me know if you're ready. Is anybody ready for the third week of conflicting ideas? Yes or no? Okay, Catherine is, Rick, Adrian, right on, Mr. Randolph. Hey, Kush, what's going on? Okay, Daryl, gotcha. Here goes. Third week of conflicting ideas. Have a short memory. Remember what happened. Have a short memory, but remember what happened. Well, what the is Dean talking about? Hold on. Let me coffee up for you guys. When I say have a short memory, here's what that means. It means good or bad, right or wrong, in or out. Right? Someone shows up to a meeting or you do a presentation on Zoom and oh my God, this looks like a thing and da-da-da-da-da. And the people at the top, who's heard those conversations? Who's heard those explanations from a band of idiots? No, don't say that. Don't say that to anybody. But who's heard those conversations where people go, you almost want to choke them through the screen. You go, do you have no idea what you're talking about? But you hear it and they click off of the Zoom. Not interested. You know why they're not interested? Because their dad or their friend or their uncle or their sister or their brother or their neighbor tried to get them into something. It was going to be get rich quick. You can make a ton of money and you don't have to. Who's heard this? Man, you can make a ton of money, but you don't have to do anything. We've never said that. And if you've said that, you're crazy. I mean, you guys even have to work to get a lottery ticket. You got to go to the 7-Eleven or wherever you go. And like that's not true. So when I tell people you got to have a short memory, right? If you hang on to that person who said no 2 weeks ago, oh my God, here's my advanced, clinical, educated, high level advice about that. Freaking get over it. Next. So you got to have a short memory. Here's the best advice I can give on having a short memory. When people join your team, you have to treat them as they're going to be your next RVP, and you're going to treat them as if they're going to quit tomorrow. And if you do that and understand that, it doesn't mean that you don't have high expectations. Expectations, man, that might be next week. Hold on a minute. I'm not saying for sure, but it might. Anyway, I want you to have high expectations, but I also want you to live in the real world. And the real world is there are yeses and nos and ins and outs, and people are going to keep going and people are going to bail and all of those things in between. So if you guys are starting to catch the theme of this month, if the first week was, hey, take your business personally, but don't take it personal. And in the second week, you have to manage yourself, but don't manage other people. And this week, you got to have a short freaking memory. And here's the conflicting idea. You need to remember what happened. So you're like, Dean, what the? Here's why. You're going to learn from your experiences. You're going to learn from other people's experiences. So when I say you need to have a short memory, that's in response to the things that you do personally. Meaning, if it doesn't go your way, log it in, right? File it, move on. But then we have to say, well, I got to remember what happened. Well, this is very important because here's my point. Here's my point. That you got to have a short memory, but you need to remember what happened so you have a frame of reference. Oh, man, I've been down this path before. Oh, I know what's coming. The last person I spoke to said this exact same thing. And here's what happens. When you remember what happened and you can take notes on the results, now you can start to compile data. Hey, this kind of works when I say this. Hey, this kind of didn't work when I said this. Or when I said this, or when I talked about that, I got this response. Or when I talked about this, and I talked about that, I didn't get the response I was looking for. So the idea here, you guys, is why would we keep doing things over and over for the purpose of doing them without getting some data and taking notes on what's working and not working? That's what you're going to be. It's so important to remember what happened, but you can't live there, right? This kind of data personally is tremendously important, right? So when I talk to people about this type of a topic, it seems like they don't serve each other. Like it seems like they're canceling each other out, but I'm letting you know that they're not. It's how you navigate that topic. It's how you navigate taking something personal, but not taking it personal. It's how you navigate managing what your business, but not managing people. And it absolutely goes to having a short memory, but remember what happened. So when look here, check this out. Check this out. I know I use him as an example a lot because it's easy to equate what I'm talking about to sports, but I'm going to give you an example. So Greg Williamson, who's on this call, great guy, great guy. And Greg, I'm sending thoughts your way, just FYI. So anyway, check this out. Greg is a NCAA college athlete, Fresno State Bulldog, played defense, played in the NFL. So when I say you have to have a short memory, but remember what happened, here's what I mean. By the way, show of hands, are you guys with me right now or no? Okay, cool. Check this out. Here's what I mean. Greg is playing and he's playing D-back and he has a wide receiver that's coming right down his path. And this wide receiver is great. He's all conference. And this wide receiver makes a move. Greg bites on the move. The guy makes a second move. He's wide open, goes, scores a touchdown. Now, Greg has to go, well, wait a minute. He can't be sulking. He can't be like over there whining like a freaking baby. I can't believe the person didn't show up for my PVZ. Oh my God, I want to like, come on. He has to go, wait, man, what happened here? And he's like, oh, dude, I saw him do this on the film and I bit. And that's not going to happen again. Well, guess what? Less than 10 minutes later, he's going to be on defense back out on the field. And he sees that receiver. And that receiver is going to try to make that same move. And he plants his foot and he's going to make that other cut. And Greg's all over it. He jumps in front of the guy, intercepts the ball, takes it the other way. So why would I give you this example? So when you guys go to home meetings, when you guys have peaking conversations, when you guys have two-on-one meetings, I want you guys, like, don't wing it. Don't freaking wing this thing. Like, be aware and have some knowledge of the things that have been working and the things that have not been working, So your next meeting will be served by your previous experiences, right? We're not trying to be in the business of randomly going through people here doing the same things over and over if they are not working. Now, the flip side to that coin is obviously very clear. If what you're doing is in fact working, should you change it? You know, you learn some other team system, some this or that. I would tell you absolutely not. If what you're doing is working, you continue to do what's working. But this all comes down to understanding these conflicting ideas so you guys can use them to your best advantage to help you develop into the leader that you are going to be, that will take your business and your team's business to the next level. Does this make sense so far? Yes or no? All right, let me do this. Hey, Mr. Clemens, is it possible to open up the lines, or if anybody has a question, or if somebody got something from this, where maybe there was a light bulb, I just want to get reaction from someone as to whether or not this landed with anybody. Because I think it is tremendously important, because we can't advance and move our businesses forward if we're conflicted inside. Like, if we're conflicted inside, it's impossible to do that, because we're never going to be able to get our train on the tracks the way that we want to get to regional coordinator, to get to regional director, regional vice president, even senior vice president. The track has to be clear. So anybody that has a thought, comment, or question on this, I want to make sure that we can get that addressed, because I will tell you this. If you have a thought, comment, or question on what I went over or what I've gone over these 3 weeks, I'm letting you know someone else on the call does as well. So I'll open it up for anybody. Okay. Hey, Kush, go ahead.
Thank you. You talk about having short-term memory and next and next and next. One of the biggest conflicts I have is, and I know this is kind of getting maybe a little bit personal, but has been with my family, my parents, who everything I do in this business is really for them. They can't see that, and so then I kind of get a lot of the pushback, because in their mind it's like, no, you got to be an employee, and I'm like, it doesn't work for me. You know, I'm building this business, and when I get the pushback, it actually almost paralyzes me, because like, I want to do this in a big way for them, and I want to bring them on stage when I get promoted to RVP. But it's like, now I'm wondering, well, do they really want it? And so where do I draw the line between, okay, having that memory about it, remembering it, and I guess I don't, and I'm not sure.
This is so good. This is so good. Like, you guys, you can't, look, you can't make this stuff up. So Kush, let me just tell you, on behalf of everybody that's on this call, number one, thank you for being honest. Thank you for being vulnerable. And thank you for being willing to share. Can anybody relate to what Kush is asking about? Yes or no? Watch this. I do have an answer for you. Okay. And here's what it is. It may not be the answer, but it is my answer. So here's what it is. Do you know that what you're doing and trying to do for your parents is good for them? Yes or no?
Yes.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Because if you know it, eventually, here's what will happen. I've done calls about this in the past, but there is nothing like proof and evidence. And that those conversations, that lack of support, that skepticism, right? Hey, that disapproval, right? You guys, please follow me. The skepticism, the being negative, the disapproval, all those things. I'm telling you that if you have a fire and you get to fill the hose with two things, you have to choose one or the other. What do most people choose when there's a fire? Make sure you spray what on it?
Water.
Water. I'm telling you to put gas in it.
Okay.
You need to light that thing up. So every single time someone gives you that negative, skeptical, concern, we're just trying to help you. We're just trying to warn you. We're just looking out for you. Well, here's what you're trying to do. You're trying to prevent me from getting residual income, time freedom, and financial independence. Stop trying to help me get away from that. That's what I'm working towards. And you don't have to believe, you don't have to be on board, you don't have to be a customer, you don't have to show up to an event, you don't have to do anything. But as my family, I love you and I believe that you love me. Here's what I'm asking you to do. If you don't have something nice to say, shut the up. Just shut up. And you have to have a bigger plan. Your reason why needs to be bigger than their speed bump. And I'm telling you that if you turn that stuff into gasoline in the hose as opposed to water, watch what happens to your fire. It needs to be that thing that's going to push you, maybe more so than anything, because it's personal. But you can't take it personally. Was that helpful, you guys? I hope.
Big time. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Got it. You got it. No problem. Mr. Clemens, I don't know if we have time for one more. If we do, great. If not, I can wrap everything up.
Go ahead, sir.
Douglas, go ahead. Or Mr. T, do we have time for one more or no?
One more. Yes, sir. Time for one more.
Okay. Fire away, Douglas.
Douglas Wolf. Well, here's what I wrote in my notes. Remember what happened. Forget what it felt like.
We're almost done here. I let them talk, and I just.
Yep. That's great. Remember what happened. Forget how it felt. Or remember how it felt, because we're human beings. We have sense memory, right? Oh, I went down that road before. I don't want to go down that road again. You know, we took a left turn and we ended up in a part of the city we didn't want to be in. Wait, I did that. I went into that store. They didn't treat me nicely. I'm going to go to the next one. So absolutely valid. All of these things are indicators on what to do and where to spend your time. So Douglas, that's great. You guys, I'm telling you, if you understand that your business is personal, but don't take it personally when things happen. If you understand how to manage yourself, manage your time, your effort, your energy, your education, where you're spending time being on calls like this, but don't manage people, help them and serve them, create an environment for them. And lastly, today in the third week was having a short memory, but remember what happened so it serves you moving forward. And if you do those things, you guys, I'm telling you, you're starting to round out the type of things that have worked for me to build my business. Now, let me show you very quickly why I was, who I was yelling at. Come here, you. Come here. Let me just introduce you guys. This is Maddie. Hi, you. You say hi? So that's it, Mr. T. That's what I got. I introduced you to my newest family member, and I hope that was helpful today.